All right, welcome everybody. This is our Sunday evening live Power Team Marketing Team Call. My name is Brandon Ivy, Global Power with Shopping Sherlock. Welcome. This is our team call, and if you guys haven't already done so, please send a message out to your other team members to make sure that they're on this call. They don't want to miss this information. I want to give you guys a couple of updates because we are now at the end of the month. Only 2 days left of the month, and just to give you guys an update. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's do a quick roll call. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you are logging in from. I'm logging in from Earthquake Country, Los Angeles, California. It's amazing. We've had, well, according to the reports, I don't know, like 60 something earthquakes this week. The only ones that really could be felt were maybe four of them. I only felt one of them. The one a couple of nights ago was about 9 p.m. and everything shook. Books fell off my dresser and the bookcase, and then the one the next morning. But hey, that's what we know we live with in California. But we have people from North Dakota, Pasadena, Illinois, Florida, Arkansas, North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina, Chicago, Charlton, Missouri, Kingsburg, California, Cleveland, Canada. We have people that's, in fact, on our team all over the world. As a matter of fact, I'll give you guys an update on our team for the month of March. We've had over 60 members that have joined our business. We've promoted over, what was it, 4 powers, about 10 star affiliates. We've added members from France, Japan, South Africa, Sweden, Singapore, and the Bahamas. And all of this happened after the the Las Vegas convention. And a grand total on our team since we've joined Shopping Sherlock. Let me see in here. We are now at, looking at my report, we're at a total of 1,850 members on our team. So we're almost at that 2,000 number mark. So you guys, we have really stepped up the pace this month. We've had more production than January and more production from February. As a company, we are up from February's production for the month of March. And month of March, February was the biggest month in the company's history, and the month before that, January, was the biggest month in the company's history. So the company is still growing at an incredible rate. We have a lot of excitement taking place. A lot of people are ready to get to the next convention, which is going to be in London in September. And I know a lot of you are planning to get there. I am planning on being there. The only hiccup for me is that's right when school starts with with the kids and their events, and I'm actually a coach. So I have plenty of time. I got to work around that, but I plan on being there. My wife's going to be there with us. So we're turning a point as far as power team marketing in our Shopping Sherlock experience. It has not been an easy road, not by far. Whatever when they say whatever can go wrong will go wrong, actually has happened to us. We've had a lot of success, we've had a lot of failure, we've lost a lot of people along the way. But at the end of the day, for each and every single one of you, you have to make decisions that's best for you, and you have to be passionate about what you're doing and have a long-term goal and game plan. I was talking to a seven-figure earner a couple of weeks ago, and she asked me, why am I still with Shopping Sherlock? And I looked at her like, why are you still doing what you're doing? Well, I, I'm passionate about it. I said, so am I. See, I have a firm, strong belief that over the long term, this is the best place to be. I believe that 110%. This is like ACN 1993, Organo Gold 4 years ago, Visalis 5 years ago. This is the right place that nobody in America knows about. Overseas, yeah, they get it. They get it big time. But people in America are starting to pay attention as you've noticed, we've had a lot of American flags popping up for people that's hitting power. We have a lot of production taking place in America right now. A lot of important people that's joining our team right here in the United States. In fact, you're going to hear some big news coming from the company that I'm not allowed to announce just yet. Major news in the industry, two of them. One from our own team and another that's company wide. That's just the beginning of what's about to take place in this industry. You know, this is about to be a household name. And Penny, your mic just unmuted. Let me get Penny's mic there. There you go. Thank you, Penny. So we have a lot of things taking place, and we want to make sure we keep things very, very simple. We want to keep things very simple. So one thing I want to go over real quick is people say again they have this question. We went over last night what was overcoming objections for those of you who were on our training. And if you are not a Star affiliate or a Power, I have no idea why you wouldn't be on that type of a training. But if you missed it for whatever reason, it was recorded, and that is the link to that video. How to overcome objections. You know, I've been in this business for a long time. I've heard it all. And every time I say I've heard it all, somebody always surprises me with something I've never heard before. It always happens. And I like those challenges. But make sure you watch that so that you can. We went over the script last night and we went over objections like I don't have any money, I don't have time, why do I have to pay, what is the product, is this a scam, is this a pyramid scheme, the basic questions. And it's not just for this business, but it doesn't matter what home-based business you're in, you're going to get those questions. It's universal. Universal. And it's all about educating people about it. That's all. It's not to take offense to anybody objecting to you, but it's to be educated. We also went over don't be afraid to take this opportunity from other people. Okay, whose mic is that just scanned through? All right, don't be afraid to take this business away from somebody. Lou did that just today. I'll give you an example. I won't say any names, but it was somebody for loot. I'll give you an example. This was a person who self-proclaimed was a major hitter. I never heard of this individual before, wasn't familiar with what this individual has done in the past or anything. Just what they go by, what their claim is. And this individual claimed that they were going to be able to do this and that, this and that. They had all these connections and whatnot. And they loved the concept of what we're doing. Said they looked at everything, it was great. Loved the compensation plan. Ready to get started? Well, let's make a deal. Here we go. Let's do a partnership. You pay for me to join, and then I'll try it out for 30 days to see what response I get, and that will let me know if I'm going to be with this or not. Now, that might be a good deal, because if this person is who they say they are, and they have the type of database that they say they claim to have, then $249 might have been a good investment. If this person can bring in 50, 100, or 200 people in 30 days, right? Might be. I'm going to tell you off of experience. 90% of the time, individuals like that never, ever, ever live up to what they claim they can do. Not only that, how are you going to tell them you're going to give it 30 days? I'm going to open up McDonald's. I'm going to give it 30 days. And if I don't sell, a gang of Happy Meals and whatnot in 30 days, I'm out of business. I'm out of here. I'm only going to open up a McDonald's if somebody else pays for it. So he said, no. If you are as big as you say you are and claim you are, I've never heard of you, you have no documentation, then $249 is nothing to you with the amount of money you're going to make. Why do I say that? Well, Here's why. Out of everybody in the world, all it takes is two, getting two, getting two, getting two. 12 times. 12 times. The time frame is completely up to us. This can happen in 12 days. It can happen in 12 weeks, 12 months, or 12 years. The result is the same, $20,000 a month in residual income with over 4,000 people on your team. Is that possible? A couple years back, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I was a part of an organization, and they joined a business in January. Okay, now imagine the weeks here. January. And by the beginning of March, I think it was like the first week of March, that organization had put in 30,000 paid members. It wasn't a pre-launch, where people sign up for free, and then at the end of the when the launch happens, then everybody goes ahead and pays, and they figure, well, maybe 20% of the people who sign up for free will pay. No, it wasn't one of those. It was they put in 30,000 paying members, where the monthly auto-ship was 40 something bucks a month, and it cost a couple $100 to sign up. 30,000 in those 4, 8, about 9 weeks. 9 weeks. And it was mostly because everybody wanted to get positioned, and the compensation plan that they took a look at, what got everybody excited. And it just went viral, went like wildfire. But when you take a look at this, getting two, you wrap your head, I get what people say, is there a lot of money to make in Sherlock? Absolutely. I'd be somewhere else. Are there other companies that I can go to that make a lot of money, maybe faster? Yes. Any company. In fact, you got to understand, everyone wants to compare companies. That's a bad idea. I can join any company out there and make money. It's not because of the company. It's because of a certain skill set you have. You show me some of the top money earners in Organo Gold, Wake Up Now, DS Domination, Sozo, ACN, 5 Links. These individuals have learned a certain skill set that you put them in any company and they will make money. Some companies will make more than others, but the result is always the same. If you have people that's never made money before, really, and then they jump ship to another company, but they never learned any new skill set, they're going to have the same result as they had in the last company. Over and over and over again. There are a couple of exceptions to the rule, because for some people, certain companies are a better fit for you. You're just more passionate about it. You're just able to, do it better. It just clicks with you. And that's happened sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's not the company that really makes the difference. Now, the last company that we were in, before we joined it, there was nothing going on, nothing taking place. The people that were already involved didn't make any major noise. We came on board and we made major noise. Then we joined Shopping Sherlock, and I had grandiose plans. My goal, we were going to have 5,000 members on our team by December. I was going to hit diamond power by December in 3.5 months. That's not what happened. It didn't happen that way. What does that mean? I give up and quit? Oh no. You just reload, set new goals, and keep on going. I love that video. In fact, let me pull it up right now for you guys. If you have not seen this video, try to, maybe before you go to sleep tonight, I know it might be late for you guys on the East Coast, but take a look at this video. It's by Holton Buggs. It's very interesting what he says. How he went 7 years and never made more than $500 on a monthly basis. for 7 years. Amazing. I remember in when I first got started in this industry, I made a little bit of money, but not impressive money for 10 years. 10 years. And people say, "Brandon, why did you continue moving forward?" Because I say, because 15 years later, I'm retired. See, 15 years is going to come anyway, right? 15 years ago, if I listened to those naysayers who said, "Why are you in that company and that business? You're not making any money. You should go ahead and quit." If I listened to them, 15 years comes anyway, where would I be today? But since I didn't listen to them, I'm retired today. I just failed more than everybody else, and I never gave up. That's when you focus on the goal. And Aramis, I am speaking about Holton Buggs. He's the #1 money earner in the world in network marketing. And I love something else he says, and this is for leaders. Because I'll tell you this, in network marketing, this is an education course with a compensation plan put behind it. My first 10 years was nothing but education for me. The money would come, and it did. But I spent 10 years getting educated, unlearning what I learned before and learning some new stuff. I was very, very, what's the word? Stubborn. I didn't want to let go of the old ways. I thought I knew it all, and it took me 10 years to finally, you know what, let me just release this and do what they tell me to do. It took me 10 years. Others, they do it in 6 months. Other people figure it out in 2 months. Some people figure it out in 4 years. Some in 2 years. Some in 20 years. Took me 10. But the one thing that saved me was that I just never gave up. But I love something else that Holton says. He says, you know, if anyone were to ask me if there was anything I would have changed, he said I would have thought much bigger, much sooner. He's absolutely right. It's like Benjamin Banneker. Have you ever heard of him? He's the first person to break the 4-minute mile, or the 5-minute mile. Do the mile in under 5 minutes. First person. For all of history, all up until 19 something, nobody ever ran the mile that fast. And then the moment he did it, then all of a sudden, people started breaking it right after him. 2 people did it the next year, then 4, then 10, then 20, then 100. Everybody can do it that same fast. Something else that he said as a leader that I'm taking to heart. Roger Bannister. Thank you very much, Aramis. Why did I say Benjamin? Yeah, Roger Bannister. 4-minute mile. But something else that he said as a leader, and all of you are leaders at this point. There's nobody else that's in this company yet. In the binary, everybody's going to have to come through your downline. You guys are the first. You're the leaders. You lead by example. One thing he said was, you know, when he made a move into a company where he was used to making $70,000 a month and he went down to $2,000, he was doing okay because he had a lot of money saved. So he was doing okay. But his leaders at the time, his leaders were not doing okay. They weren't making the type of money he was making beforehand. And if he was only making $2,000, imagine what they were making. And they were struggling. And he had a choice to make. And I've heard him say this before. In another, he talked about this more in detail in another video I saw maybe 2 years ago. I'm going to have to go look that one up. But he said it was at a time when the internet was really getting popular, and there were a lot of different tool programs. You had IM Tool Suite out there, and Power Network was jumping off. Visalis was getting real popular. You had a lot of choices out there. And the industry, you know, there was a little dirty little secret in the industry where leaders can go to another company and get paid to do so. And he said, you know, at that time, he thought about it. He said, you know, what, maybe it might be best if I go and join another company and take some money and try to take care of a couple of the leaders. He said had he done that, that would have been a short-term fix, and then he would have been a hired gun. where he would always have to be moving around to get hired to, to keep things moving. Because in business, especially when you start over, most of the time it does not happen overnight. Most of the time. Every now and then you might have a hit where things start to happen for you real fast. But most of the time it doesn't. It's a build. This is a marathon, not a sprint, not a 30 to 60 day thing. And so he made a painful choice. He said, I'm going to stay exactly where I am, see things through, and I may lose people along the way. Because everybody has to do what they have to do for their family. However, speed of the leader, speed of the pack. I have to go out there and make things happen. I need to increase my paycheck because by doing that, that's going to increase everybody's paycheck. So that's the route he took, and I followed the similar path. When things didn't go so easy with us over here when we first came over. This is the best compensation plan long term on the market to date. You can make a lot of money in other companies. But as far as stability, as far as timing and trends in this industry, I remember listening to Greg Provenzano talk about that ACN was 24 hours away from going out of business. The company. This company is nowhere near going out of business. It's a matter of us going out there and spreading the word about what we have and being consistent with doing so and steadily growing your business. The only way to lose is to quit. That's the only way to lose. The only way to lose is to quit. And when people tell me all the time, but Brandon, I need to do my research. I need to do my research. I need to learn more about this. I've never heard of this before. I'm going to give you guys another nugget here. Because people say that seven-figure earner I was talking to, she had no idea exactly what Sherlock was. She said, hey, it's just a cash back mall. There's a lot of cash back malls out there. What makes you guys so different? I said, well, thank you for letting me know that. That lets me know that we're not getting the message out right. This is not another cash back shopping mall. We're not even a shopping mall at all. We are a affiliate tool company. What does that mean? All we do is help you find deals on items you're going to Google and purchase anyway. Instead of Googling it, Sherlock it. You don't buy the item from us. We just redirect you to another deal. There's nobody that does that. Someone asked me about Lioness and Doobly and Shop.com and Zuzu Lane and all the others. They don't do what we do. They don't have the affiliate relationships that we have. They're not worldwide like we are. And they don't have a CEO who has those relationships like the one we have. In that aspect, we are very, very unique. Nobody knows about us yet, and we are still number one. The compensation plan is just once you start moving numbers through the compensation plan, it just explodes. I was amazed by 1 week when I saw just how the numbers flow. I was like, whoa. Things happen almost overnight. Overnight. 2 good people, it's game over. And we are having steady growth. That's also amazing. I can't wait to see how we are and where we're going to be 1 year from now, 2 years from now. We're really going to be good. But back to educating people, and they ask about our industry. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but if you've seen the news about e-commerce, there's a new word that's going to be added to the dictionary soon. It's going to be called e-tailers. Have you ever heard that one before? E-tailers. What is that? Well, it's a new version of retailers. See, retailers are the brick and mortar stores that you're going to every single day. E-tailers are now individuals who are or not shopping, who are selling products online. They're calling them e-tailers. And it is starting to make such a noise that retailers are lobbying Congress and the federal government to do something about the e-tailers. They're saying that it's unfair business grounds, that they can't compete, that it's unfair that somebody can go online and sell a product cheaper than everybody else. And that they're not paying taxes for it. So one, they're going to try to make the federal government tax the internet some kind of way. Good luck with that. The moment they put restrictions on that, people are going to look at how they try to do it in China. If you saw the news the other day, China had banned Twitter for like a day. Talk about uproar. Or they'll ban Facebook, or they ban YouTube, or different sites. They try to do that in America. It's not going to go down very good. It's also not going to reverse the trend of everybody shopping online. See, people aren't shopping online specifically because they want to get a cheaper deal. They're shopping online because of the convenience. It's more convenient. I tell you what I did for my son just yesterday. He wanted the WrestleMania's coming up, right? So that's this Sunday. So he wanted 2K WWE 2014 or 2K14 WWE. Now, I was in a lazy mode, right? I did not feel like getting up, going to, and GameStop's only like right around the corner. And I was laying on the couch with the laptop on my stomach, and I said, "Wait a second." And I went to GameStop.com. You know what happened? The Sherlock, I didn't even Sherlock it. The Sherlock cashback toolbar popped up and said I was getting like 3.5% cash back. I said, "Oh." And so then I looked up the game, and he had this gift card. So I put the gift card in there, and it gave me free shipping 2 days. So by Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to get the game. I got it for less, and I got cash back for it, and I didn't have to get up off the couch and go running off to GameStop to go get it. Wow. Convenience is why this is a major trend. And this is what's going to affect everybody. Everybody. People that's not even in our industry are going to be affected. Remember, if you go back, how many years? 6 years now, when the housing crisis crashed at the same time as the oil market crashed. I don't know if there was that oil rig disaster in the Gulf combined with shutting down plants in the South, combined with the war on terror or something happened in the Middle East, made each barrel go over $100 per barrel. And I remember I was working at a company called, what's the name of that company? It was an ink manufacturing company. And we made ink for newspapers. But it takes oil, petroleum, to make the ink. And what ended up happening, this is how the trickle-down effect happened. When the price of a barrel rose, then that meant the trucks that delivered, the trucks that travel across the country, their price of gasoline rose tremendously. So did the price of making our ink. So they always turn that and pass it over to the consumers. So we had to turn around and charge higher for LA Times and all the other newspapers who purchased ink from us. So you know what LA Times did? They couldn't afford to raise price on their consumers. They just started laying people off and firing people. At the same time as the housing market crash happened. Trickle-down effect. Everybody started losing their jobs because of a couple of things that took place. Same thing is about to happen right now. You think the economy is bad right now. It is about to get much worse over the next 12 to 16 months. Why is that going to happen? Well, remember when companies wanted to become more efficient and they would lay off whole divisions of their company and ship those businesses overseas? So you call your customer service department, and who would you speak to? Somebody from India, right? Nothing against India, but I know that pissed you off. Like, look, can I talk to somebody here in America? How do you know what's going on here in America? You're in India. Save those companies money. They sent their manufacturing jobs overseas because of cheap labor. And we had a push calling for bring American jobs back. I think, and here's another reason why I'm still here. My political side, I understand, what's going on in the economy, politics, and I see what's coming down the road, which is another factor of why I'm right where I'm at right now. Everybody has their season. I'm gonna get to that in a moment, but I want to finish this train of thought here, so you guys understand. Well, right now, when you see companies laying people off and closing stores, they're not doing so because they're going out of business. In fact, the opposite is happening. They're actually making more money than they ever have before. There is more money flowing around our economy today than in history. It's just we don't have access to that money. But why are they laying people off? Because more people are changing their buying habits. The consumers are changing the way they shop. They're changing the way they window shop, how they spend their money. And that's also a direct effect of the economy. They're holding on to their purses a little bit tighter. They're not stopping shopping. They're just getting a little smarter doing so. They're not as wasteful as before. There's a purpose when they go shopping. They buy what they want. And companies are reacting to that. It's not the opposite. People think all the time it's the companies that's making this happen. No, it's not. The companies are reacting to us and our habits. We're the ones with our faces in the smartphones all day. You go to an airport, and what do you see? Do you see people reading newspapers and talking to each other? No. They're in their laptops and smartphones. You go down to Madison Avenue in New York. Is everybody looking up at the $1 million billboards? No, they're looking at their smartphones. So advertisers are going where people's eyeballs are. That's what's taking place. They're reacting to us. We are the cause of this. So unless we change our habits, this is what's coming. For all those people that get laid off, they can't go to another job because their competitors are laying people off as well. That's what happened with my old company. The people who I told you guys this story. I won't say long on this, but he had been a salesman for our company for 17 years. That's all he's done. And when he got laid off, he couldn't go to another company, one of our competitors, because they laid off their sales force. He didn't have enough money to go back to school. He had to provide for his entire family. His wife wasn't working. His mother-in-law lived with him. He had a daughter. The stress of the matter he had a stroke, and he ended up in the hospital. 3 days before he had the stroke, his health insurance coverage ran out. And I lost touch with him a couple years back. I don't know what he's doing now. A relative of his got him a job at a car wash. A car wash. To help bring in some extra money. And what's going to now is going to be the same effect. You're going to have more people than ever looking for a home-based business because they can't find jobs. So 15 years ago, when you asked somebody about a home-based business, they're looking at you, oh, that's a scam, I'm not involved in that. Today, you ask somebody about a home-based business, the question is, how many of them are you already involved in and which ones? It's going to become the norm. And even network marketing is going to be under attack as far as what's taking place as well. Because of people's habits. There was a report in a newspaper or news article that talked about the rise of the e-preneur. They're not calling it entrepreneur anymore. They're calling them e-preneurs who are getting involved in e-commerce. For the first time ever, people are able to sell and make money online like never before. Look at how many people are making money by copying and pasting from Amazon and posting it up on eBay. For the first time ever, they have full control over an income coming in from their own hands. Whether you're recruiting anybody or not, direct sales, e-commerce is the biggest growth as far as a home-based business. Anybody involved in that? According to the news article. I thought that was real funny. Endorsing network marketing. Around the world, there's no jobs? Go online. Join a company that's positioned in e-commerce. That's why I say Shopping Sherlock is perfect for this. Nobody understands this yet or knows about it yet. And they won't know about it until it's too late. You know, and anytime you see a hype on a company and everybody, shooting you messages about the company, it's already too late at that point. The gurus already got their piece and they're already looking towards the next. Right now, you guys are positioned and nobody knows about it yet. Nobody knows about it. But you're here right now to be able to take your piece of the pie in a trillion-dollar industry. There's so much room in this industry that you can have 100 Shopping Sherlocks out there and each of them be a billion-dollar company. You guys understand that? You can have 100 Shopping Sherlocks. So I'm not concerned. People send me all the time. They send me a link. Hey, have you seen this shopping company? Have you seen that one? I don't care. Nobody heard of shop.com and it made $640 million last year. Only in a few companies. Can't nearly do what we do. They just have pretty graphics. This is where you have to have the vision. And this is where I sacrificed short-term gain because of my long-term vision. Which leads me back to what I said about Holton Buggs being Roger Bannister. Once he broke that $1 million a month mark, he let everybody else in the industry know that it's possible. Now we had people in the industry doing that before, but they all came from Amway. And people wrote them off. Oh yeah, of course, that's Amway. It's Bill Britt. Of course, they've been doing that for 50 years. I hear people even say that now about Sherlock. And every time they see something good happening, oh, they're overseas. That's UK. That's them. That doesn't count. What? That doesn't count. They're doing it. Yeah, whatever. I'll believe it when I see somebody in America doing it. Okay, then go do it. Why don't you be the first? You got to wait till somebody else does. I've never been that person. I have to wait or join somebody else who's making it happen and making something happen. That's never been my personality. I love being the trailblazer. The trailblazers are the ones that really get paid. I never join somebody else's team just because I feel they've got a great system. I want to create the system. That's just me. And that's what we have the opportunity of doing here. That's exactly what Holton said. Why he did what he did in OG. People were like, why are you over there? It's all about Gano Excel. You need to be following Robert Hollis. You need to follow Jay Nolan. What are you doing over there? Your people aren't making any money. Yeah, look at them now, 5 years later. I see this 4 or 5 years in the future where we're going to be. But it's going to be up to us to be the first. And here's one thing that I do know. This is going to happen. The question is it going to be us or somebody else? It is going to happen. It's just a matter of who is going to be the one to lead that way. And if you take Holton Buggs' production and you drop it in the middle of Shopping Sherlock, he's not 1.3 million a month. He's over $3 million a month. I did the math maybe about 2 months ago. My last company, the production that I was having, we put 6,000 people in the business. If I took all 6,000, at the height I made 25,000, I don't know, $27,000 in 1 month. $27,000 in 1 month. And I dropped that same exact group with the same auto ship. The auto ship here's actually less into Sherlock. I would have made over $45,000 that month. The same exact production. Which blows my freaking mind that most of the leaders couldn't see this when they came over here. Blows my freaking mind. If everybody understood it, there would be no reason why everybody would be on the $34.95 a month at least. And find two people to do the same. Forget the bonuses. That's why I have this chart up. I want you guys to see here. Out of all of the ways that we get paid, forget about the bonuses. Forget about the 20% check match. Forget about the Sherlock usage. Forget about best in social. All that stuff. If you just follow the leveraging yourself of building an organization alone, of getting two, and everybody is only spending $34.95 a month. You understand the power of that? I'm telling you, it's $34.95 a month. Not 5,000, not 200, not 150, not $99 a month. 34, not two people, $34.95 a month for 12 weeks. That alone, $20,000 a month in residual income. That is why I can't sleep at night. Because I plan on having over 50 to 100,000 reps on my team in the long haul. And then you add all the other ways we get paid on there as well. I want you guys to have vision. And keep things simple. Keep them simple. We have 2 days left in this month. We are going to be starting what's called the 90-day type challenge. It's 12 weeks. July 1st, you're looking at all of April's 1 month. May is the 2nd month. June is the 3rd month. July 1st, you're now at 90 days. You put your head down. And you just follow the plan of two getting two, getting two, getting two, getting two. That's all you do. $34.95, $34.95, $34.95 a month. Everybody doing that. By the end of July, you walk off your job. I'm sorry, by the end of June, you walk off your job. If that's all you're focused on, you walk off your job. Now, I'll share this with you guys like I said last night. Because they say, stories sell. And I don't share my story all the time. I'm real private. I shared you guys with last night. I'm an introvert. It's hard to believe. But I am an introvert. I don't have many friends. Not because I can't have friends or find friends. I just like being alone. That's just me. I'd much rather be at home, my wife and my kids watching the Super Bowl than at a Super Bowl party. But I know how to operate in the midst of a whole lot of people. I enjoy being on stage with 2,000 people watching me. I enjoy that shark aspect, but naturally, that's not how I am naturally. I'm an introvert. I had to force this out. And it became a habit. But I'll tell you, there was one point in our lives, me and my wife, I think it was 2011, we had the worst year of our entire lives. Maybe when I get promoted to Diamond, I'll explain on stage why, and I'll have to ask my wife for permission to share. But I had the worst year of my life. Not for business. Business, I actually did good. Business was good. That was around my turning point. I was making, I don't know, almost 5 figures a month, close to there, mid 4 figures. But personally, Emotionally and spiritually, was the worst year of our lives. And then the following year, 2012, ended up being the best year, a complete turnaround. But I'm going to tell you what happened at the beginning of 2012. I was part of a company that I had great hopes and desires for. I felt they had a great product, a great business plan, a great compensation plan, and the only thing stopping the company was the owner. Can you imagine that? The only thing stopping your progression is the owner of the company. And the reason why is because the owner was satisfied and content with where the company was at that point. Making millions of dollars, was content with that. But for me to make the type of money I wanted to make, which was 6 figures a month, the company would have had to have grown and done more, which the owner was not willing to do. It's like he was sabotaging his own success. But he was having enough success to be content with it. He was happy, flying right underneath the radar. So I had to make a choice. I continue on this path where ultimately I'm going to have to either continue to rebuild to keep what I have and never progress, or I got to go somewhere else. And that's where I did make the choice that I need to go somewhere else. And by making that decision, before anything was really happened, I was terminated. Terminated from the company. I was owed, he didn't pay me 2 months worth of commissions. Thousands of dollars that I relied on. At this time, my wife was not working. My wife wasn't working. I had a job that I was close to. The goal is I wanted to walk off my job if I was making enough money. But I wasn't making enough to be able to walk off my job the way I wanted to. Plus, I was living under, here's what my mentor always taught me. Never walk off your job, no matter how much money you're making, until you have at least a year's worth of bills saved up. Then walk off your job. That follows the Jim Rohn approach. Because once you do, if something bad were to happen, at least you have a whole year to figure out what you need to do without worrying about your bills being paid. That's what my mentor taught me to do. And that's what I was trying to do at this point. But I lost 2 months' commissions. My wife wasn't working. And then I got a pink slip on the job that I did have. And it wasn't a pink slip to get laid off, or I was getting fired. It was a notice that you may get fired at the end of the summer. This was around March 2012. So I may get fired in August. We don't know. So they said, we don't want you to go and look for a new job because you might not get fired. At the same time, they also offered me a promotion. But the promotion would have had to either move me to San Diego or mostly San Jose, California. There was no way I could move my wife at that point and my family. Like I said, there's other circumstances that I deal with, which is why I build online. So my back was against the wall. My business was gone. No income from the business. I have a pink slip that if I stay right here, I might get fired. If I want to save my job, I have to move and uproot my family, which was not an option. Then nobody's hiring here in California. I couldn't go back relying on teaching because there weren't hiring any teachers here in California. I have an education, 2 months away from 2 semesters away from a master's degree, so I already did that route, and now I have to pay $40,000 worth of student loans still. And that's just me, not counting my wife, who does have a master's degree. We did everything we were supposed to do. And we have children. And then we have our parents looking at us like, what's the problem here? Talk about stress on you as a husband and a father. Not only that, you have a team that's relying on you. So when we joined our business at that time, which was our last company, there was no other option for me other than to succeed. People said, are you crazy for joining that company? Nothing's going on over there. My sponsor had been there for months and only had 40 people on his team. The number one money earner at the time, I think, was making $4,000 a month, if that. and had 3 or 4 accounts to get to $4,000 a month. Nobody really heard of the company. I took it as a challenge. I had no choice. It's like that general that invades the island, and once the troops go to the island, turns around and burns all the ships and say the only way home is through that army. You either win or you die. That was my mindset. I either succeed or I die. I put my head down by any means necessary. I went to sleep at 3 a.m. every night. I had to get up at 6 a.m. to go to work. I had to act as if nobody around me knew the pressure that I had, that I was going under. I never showed it. As a leader, you have to, it's probably politics. I know how the game works. It's not fake it till you make it. Act as if. And within 90 days, I was making over 5 figures a month. The company had over 500% growth. 500%. All of a sudden, everybody was talking about the company. And at this point, I was forced to at the time because I quit my job on my birthday. So my birthday is no more just my birthday, it's my freedom day. I broke my rule of waiting a year only because I didn't have a choice. They were going to fire me anyway. So I had to work my tail off. People quit. I didn't care. People said it wasn't going to work. I didn't care. People offered me money to join other companies. No. You stay focused. 90 days can change your life. And we're at this point now because now at 2014, it is exactly 2 years from when we started that journey. And by July 1st, after getting started, it's amazing that this has happened like this. It was a Friday, the end of March, going into April 1st, when we joined that company. 2 years ago. Power Team Marketing. And by July, I was 5 figures a month. Why am I sharing that with you now? One, I want to qualify what I'm saying. I don't say anything or teach on things that I haven't done in the past, that I don't know it's possible. This compensation plan is more lucrative than that one. So every single one of you has it within you to make your own 90-day challenge by July 1st to completely turn your life around and change where you currently are. You have that no nonsense, no quit, I don't care who you are attitude. I'm going to make this happen. All I need is 2, and I'm going to teach those 2, and if those 2 can't get the job done, I'm going to go find 2 more. That's the attitude you have. And you do this for 90 days. That's all you focus on. For heaven's sake, it's $34.95. You can't get Americans, so what? Get people outside of America who actually understand an opportunity and not looking for hype. Not looking for a handout. This is the one thing about networkers in America right now. We're spoiled. We are. We're spoiled. We have so many choices that nobody is willing to work hard at anything at any given length of time anymore. Americans are so desperate to make as much money as they can right now that they will only join companies that they think they can make a whole lot of money right now. And they end up jumping ship every 12 months, 6 months to 12 months. That's not the case overseas. I don't know, Jack, 300, 400 more people in Japan. We have a new team. In fact, one member's only one away from hitting power in Japan, Dino Crawley. He's only one away, and his team is just grown into France. France is now getting jumped off. In fact, they're talking. I can't say that. They have a heavy hitter that's looking to come on board in France. I don't know how many we have in Denmark. And on our team, I think we have one person, one or two people in Denmark, and working on a few more. All right, congratulations, Dan. Dan, you're on Rod Doctor's team, right? Yeah, yeah. So I know. Yeah, Rod told me about that. So yeah, let's make that happen. Let's lock down that Denmark guy and put him on the phone with me as fast as possible. Really get them going. Maybe we get them to the London retreat in the UK. That's smart. But I'm going to tell you what happens in America. Stories. Stories. You create for yourself a story. See, I had a story. I was able to tell people, hey, I walked off my job in 90 days because of this company. People want to hear your story. What's your story in Shopping Sherlock? I couldn't get two people. I quit and did something else. That's not your story. That's not a story that's going to inspire. Which means for me personally, I have to be balling. I got to get to $50,000 a month as fast as possible to start having attention here in America. And it's going to happen. I'm telling you that right now. It's going to happen. And then all those people that's jumping ship all over the place, their entire downlines are going to want to come and join us. I look around at a couple of hot companies right now. I look at DS Domination. I look at Wake Up Now. And I look at, those are my downlines. Which is funny from my other companies. Those are my downlines. Seymour Green was in my downline in another company. Number one money earner on Wake Up Now. Top money earners at DS Domination. They were in my downline. So what? Remember this and remember this good. The most important recruit you will ever have on your team is you. You are the superstar, not who you can sign up. And until you realize that, nobody else is going to believe you're the superstar, which is why they don't sign up with you. Superstars only sign up with superstars. So wherever you are right now, if you don't even have that belief that you're the superstar, why would anybody else believe that you can lead them to the promised land? It's got to start with you guys. And I'm giving you the roadmap to make this happen. You know, I always say all the time, focus on the goal and not the how. Focus on the task. See, I'm sorry, don't focus on the task, focus on the goal. Well, I'm showing you the task. This is the roadmap. If you just follow this, everything else falls into place. I had a good talk with Simon Brooks about that. Everything else falls into place. Two, getting to. Getting to. Aramis, I signed you up. We've got to get your two like yesterday. And then those two. And then those two. We've got to make it happen. I want to have that success story out of Florida. Who's going to be the first global in Florida? Who's going to be the next global on our team? We're going to make a big deal out of it. So with that, guys, we have 2 days left of the month. Because tomorrow is the last day of the month, I am going to do a presentation tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm sorry, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, because we have getting started training at 9 p.m. So 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 5 p.m. Pacific, we're going to have the last grand opening of the month. Speaking of grand opening, next Saturday, we are going to have a special Saturday night training with Global Power, Penny Kyle. And the topic is going to be grand openings. And I found a video I did years ago from 2011 on the importance of grand openings. Here's that video. I encourage you to watch it. I listened to it the other day and I was like, whoa, wow. I need to be talking about this more. The grand opening is everything in your business. It's what launches your business. If you haven't had a grand opening, you can always have another one. Watch that video if you haven't done so already. Grand opening. So we're going to have one tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then followed by getting started training at 9 p.m. Eastern, last day of the month, your last chance to get the Star Affiliate. Invite, invite, invite. Could we get more training on how to market to folks in other countries? Well, I'll give you the short training on that. The same way you market to folks in America. You're just going to get a different response from overseas. That's all. Yeah, if you're using Facebook, you just type in a different countries in groups. Type in Denmark home business, or Sweden home business, or France, or whatever. In different countries, add them as friends. Go to LinkedIn. Oh, you guys saw I did post that Chuck Williams group is going to be doing LinkedIn training. Chuck Williams, to give you guys a hint, reason lately why his group blew up is because of that LinkedIn training they've been doing. Chuck signed up 15 people by himself in February because of the LinkedIn training. So that's another way to learn how to market. So I sent that email out. I'll send it out again if you didn't get it. But in fact, you know what? Let me just give you his email address. If anybody wants, oh wow, he just sent me a message right now. Hi Brandon, please find your LinkedIn training free report. Okay, let me get the email. If you want to be a part of LinkedIn training, send an email to Chuck Williams there. There's the link. I highly encourage you to do so. Their team in Canada, they are bringing on some big hitters you're going to hear about soon. Because LinkedIn is different than Facebook. You're getting a lot more professionals with LinkedIn. So I'm going to start doing my own LinkedIn training as well for that. So with that, guys, let's take full advantage of the last 2 days. We want to make April our biggest month ever. April's going to be our biggest month. 2 years ago, April, we put in 137 people in the month of April. Those 137 people going into May turned into 507 in May. By June 15th, we had 1,000 people on our team. So I want you to look at the numbers here in Shopping Sherlock. What if you had 500 on your left and 500 on your right? How much money is that? That's $2,500 a month in residual income. Actually, it's more than that. It's more than that. But just giving you a good example. That's how fast you can get there. And the bonuses is a whole lot more money. So that's what we're looking to do here. I'm going to, this is my own personal challenge, is repeat what we did 2 years ago, starting tomorrow. And I'm going to do it with or without the current team. Repeating, starting tomorrow. With that, guys, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I am going to show the wealth inequality video because I want you guys to really understand the state of the economy in America. Really, it's the mindset of how we think things are and what they really are in America. These are the people that you're talking to. These are the people that you're working with every single day. They don't realize how bad off they really are. Most people are one paycheck away from homelessness. Just one paycheck away. Don't get your paycheck next month, and what do? What's going to happen? We want to solve that problem for most people. So take a look at this video. This is our team call. We do this every single Sunday. We'll have a very good one next week because it'll be the first week into our 90-day challenge here. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Brandon Ivy, Global Power Shopping Sherlock. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
There's a chart I saw recently that I can't get out of my head. A Harvard business professor and economist asked more than 5,000 Americans how they thought wealth was distributed in the United States. This is what they said they thought it was. Dividing the country into 5 rough groups of the top, bottom, and middle 3 20% groups, they asked people how they thought the wealth in this country was divided. Then he asked them what they thought was the ideal distribution. And 92%, that's at least 9 out of 10 of them, said it should be more like this. In other words, more equitable than they think it is. Now that fact is telling, admittedly, the notion that most Americans know that the system is already skewed unfairly. But what's most interesting to me is the reality compared to our perception. The ideal is as far removed from our perception of reality as the actual distribution is from what we think exists in this country. So ignore the ideal for a moment. Here's what we think it is again. And here is the actual distribution. Shockingly skewed. Not only do the bottom 20% and the next 20%, the bottom 40% of Americans barely have any of the wealth. I mean, it's hard to even see them on the chart. But the top 1% has more of the country's wealth than 9 out of 10 Americans believe the entire top 20% should have. Mind-blowing. But let's look at it another way, because I find this chart kind of difficult to wrap my head around. Instead, let's reduce the 311 million Americans to just a representative 100 people. Make it simple. Here they are: teachers, coaches, firefighters, construction workers, engineers, doctors, lawyers, some investment bankers, a CEO, maybe a celebrity or two. Now let's line them up according to their wealth. Poorest people on the left, wealthiest on the right, just a steady row of folks based on their net worth. We'll color code them like we did before based on which 20% quintile they fall into. Now let's reduce the total wealth of the United States, which was roughly $54 trillion in 2009, to this symbolic pile of cash. And let's distribute it among our 100 Americans. Well, here's socialism, all the wealth of the country distributed equally. We all know that won't work. We need to encourage people to work and work hard to achieve that good old American dream and keep our country moving forward. So, here's that ideal we asked everyone about. Something like this curve. This isn't too bad. We've got some incentive, as the wealthiest folks are now about 10 to 20 times better off than the poorest Americans. But hey, even the poor folks aren't actually poor, since the poverty line has stayed almost entirely off the chart. We have a super healthy middle class with a smooth transition into wealth. And yes, Republicans and Democrats alike chose this curve. 9 out of 10 people, 92%, said this was a nice, ideal distribution of America's wealth. But let's move on. This is what people think America's wealth distribution actually looks like. Not as equitable, clearly, but for me, even this still looks pretty great. Yes, the poorest 20 to 30% are starting to suffer quite a lot compared to the ideal, and the middle class is certainly struggling more than they were, while the rich and wealthy are making roughly 100 times that of the poorest Americans and about 10 times that of the still healthy middle class. Sadly, this isn't even close to the reality. Here is the actual distribution of wealth in America. The poorest Americans don't even register. They're down to pocket change, and the middle class is barely distinguishable from the poor. In fact, even the rich between the top 10 and 20 percentile are worse off. Only the top 10% are better off. And how much better off? So much better off that the top 2 to 5% are actually off the chart at this scale. And the top 1%, this guy, well, his stack of money stretches 10 times higher than we can show. Here's his stack of cash, restacked, all by itself. This is the top 1% we've been hearing so much about. So much green in his pockets that I have to give him a whole new column of his own, because he won't fit on my chart. 1% of America has 40% of all the nation's wealth. The bottom 80%, 8 out of every 10 people, or 80 out of these 100, only has 7% between them. And this has only gotten worse in the last 20 to 30 years. While the richest 1% take home almost a quarter of the national income today, in 1976 they took home only 9%, meaning their share of income has nearly tripled in the last 30 years. The top 1% own half the country's stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. The bottom 50% of Americans own only 0.5% of these investments, which means they aren't investing. They're just scraping by. I'm sure many of these wealthy people have worked very hard for their money, but do you really believe that the CEO is working 380 times harder than his average employee? Not his lowest paid employee, not the janitor, but the average earner in his company. The average worker needs to work more than a month to earn what the CEO makes in 1 hour. We certainly don't have to go all the way to socialism to find something that is fair for hardworking Americans. We don't even have to achieve what most of us consider might be ideal. All we need to do is wake up and realize that the reality in this country is not at all what we think it is.